So my Mac Mini is here, I think. It says computer assembled in China, so I'm gonna say it's here. Anyway, I just saw UPS and I was across the street at the park with my kids teaching my 5-year-old how to ride a pedal bike, and left my, $1,900 taxes and Apple Carry and Mac Mini sit on the steps. Good thing I noticed. So it was tucked behind a post, but still. Anyway, I'm gonna go over and talk to the wife now. Maybe see if I can set it up. I don't know, it's kind of late in the day. And I'm usually off work. And I only have probably about 40 minutes before dinner if I want to set it up. Maybe after dinner, then it's 20 minutes to kid bedtime, and then it's late. I don't know. Of course I want to set it up, but we'll see if I get to that. So should I ask my wife the question now? I got a new computer. Am I allowed to go set it up?
No, we're not right now.
Tonight? No. Which means I might not get to it till Saturday. So. And in the midst of it, my 5-year-old fell off her bike. So she's over there running away now. But this one, who's this kid?
Me. Your mom and helmet off.
You want your helmet off? What do you say then?
Can we be my helmet off?
Of course. Shh. Here I come. Roar! So the new Mac Mini is here. Step one, I should have about 35 minutes to rip my office apart. So I put the new Mac Mini in, put in the new VESA mount, monitor stand, and just reorganize everything really. So let's start ripping it apart. Step one, I'll actually be moving the Sonos speaker over to a shelf with separate power so I can listen to music while I do this. Me starting to get my Mac Mini set up, and I lost a ton of footage. I don't know where it went. Just the GoPro just didn't work for some of it. So anyway, we're here. Yeah, mic's in. I'm going to talk a little bit about my new desk setup, what I've got going here, and how I use it to just be productive. I guess what I meant to do too is do this. So what I have here is I have a Mac Mini just off at a site on a shelf right here. And there it is, a brand new Mac Mini i5 with just 8 gigabytes of RAM. I'm going to put 32 in it later. And it's got a 500 gig hard drive because that's what I needed. And then there's a 4 terabyte Seagate drive off to the side as an external. For my desk setup, I wanted a desk that I could really keep clear if I wanted, which you can see because I've got the monitor up here, right? I can swing it down if I want, right, out to a workspace, or I can push it up out of my way, and I can bring the iPad out in front as well, so that it is the main focus of what I'm going to do. Now, one thing I don't love right now, as you can see that cable, I have more coming. That is a USB-C male to female cable. Unfortunately, the longest one I can find right now is 3.3 feet. So that's one of them, which I ordered extra one other time. And what I'm ordered is 2 more, so it can actually run from the Mac Mini up top underneath the desk and come up. And that is the Kingston USB hub that I have talked about before. That Kingston USB hub, I will switch back and forth between my iPad and the Mini, depending on what I'm doing. When I want my headset plugged into, right, my headset, which is over there, hung up, which is a, what is it, a SteelSeries Wireless H. That's not what it currently is. There's a new model that's very similar. But when I want to use that with my iPad, I just swap it over, right? When I'm doing photo importing, exporting, I swap over to the Kingston USB hub, and I can do that into the iPad. Right now, as I just did setting things up, and as I was doing did some writing, that I guess I started on the Mac because I was setting things up, and then I wanted to keep the screenshots consistent. So I worked this morning on the new Mac Mini, and it'll actually be interesting to see long term what I do with my setup. Do I stick with the iPad mostly? Do I move over to the Mac Mini, because it is like vastly faster than my MacBook Air. My MacBook Air was old, really fairly old. It's funny, I was talking to a friend about how old our MacBook Airs was, and I found that his is like 2 years older than mine. So it's an even older processor than that. So hi Sherman, with your old MacBook Air. Yeah. As far as backup, what I have going now is I have a Time Machine backup. I have 1 terabyte of an external drive that's up on the shelf here, set up for Time Machine. And then I have the same drive is actually partitioned. So 500 gigabytes of that is set up as a super duper clone, which will clone at 9 a.m. So if we go long enough, you'll see it pop up, because I have 8:51 right now. And that's a super duper clone that'll clone every day at 9 a.m. Or if it feels the drive plugged in. If it detects it plugged in, it'll do that. I have a USB hub up there. My original plan was to plug it in under the desk, into the I have another USB hub under the desk, which goes into the Kingston USB-C hub, but the drive wouldn't pick up, and I don't know why. It might be something to do with the cable. I don't think it has anything to do with the USB-C hub, so it's probably the cable. And this is one of the issues with USB-C, that it's never clear exactly which features are supported in the cable. So I don't know. Could be that, could not be that. I had another USB hub just sitting around, USB 3.0 hub, so I just plugged it in up there. The cables are a little bit messy up there. I'm going to clean that up. There's still a little bit of cable cleanup. The other thing I have, like I said, is this VESA mount. It's a Vivo something. There'll be a link in the show notes for that. And that is, again, you saw it lets me bring it out, push it back. Something I'd like to do long term is probably get rid of that iPad stand. And Ergotron, it's for $100, has like it would grab the two corners, but pinch in on the iPad, and then that gives it a VESA mount. And so I could use maybe this, and this was only $39 Canadian, the Vivo VESA mount. So I could maybe put it on there and then have two VESA mounts. That way I could like easily clear off the whole desk just with a quick, just push everything back. Because as it stands, I have a wireless keyboard. This is a Kinesis Freestyle Ergo Blue, but it's wireless. So, right, my desk is essentially clear now. That'll be interesting. I haven't shot any over the head video recently. That'll be interesting to shoot over the head video later. And I may even use, I have a mic boom right here that I'm looking at. May even use that with my small rig clamp, which is what I've done before on my podcasting boom, but it's a little heavy for the phone to do that. And so I may actually try the GoPro shot from overhead with this boom to support it, really, because I can bring it in and just clamp it right to the end of the boom. The small rig clamp and the GoPro is nice and light. And then I may even use my mic, which is again right here, just out of sight, to record the audio then. But again, when I do that setup, I might talk about it, and or at least take a picture of it. So if you catch me on Patreon, I usually put up a setup shot on Patreon when I'm setting up video. And that's the big setup thing. This allows me to, I have two power bars because this raises and lowers, well, right? Goes up and down, and I adjust how I sit depending on what I'm doing. So I have two power bars as well. There's one strapped to the desk on the far side. I've had that for a long time. And there's a second one behind some books over here. And that, everything on this side that doesn't move gets plugged into this power bar. Everything over here that moves up and down gets plugged into that power bar. So as far as cables that go back and forth, I have one USB, USB A to B, because there's a USB hub built in my old Dell 24-inch as well. And that's where the camera goes into. That's it. That might be it. I think I have a USB dongle for a mouse. I'm not sure what the mouse is. I use it for gaming when I game. So that tells you how often I game. It's an Logitech MX Master something or other. And I have the display cable that goes through. And that's it. That's the only two. Oh, I guess I have this USB-C cable, so there'll be three cables. That's it that I have going through. Everything else is separate. So the stuff on this side is all plugged in over here and hooked up over here, and the stuff on that side is mainly hooked up over there. That's it. All right, and the other thing is the iPad Pro 12 point. I was gonna say 24-inch, 12.9-inch with the 1 terabyte, so I could get 6 gigabytes of RAM. That's where we're at. That is the new setup for my office. That is what I've got going and what I'll be using for a while. So you'll see this is basically like a full reset of my computing this year. Because I got the 12.9-inch iPad at Christmas and I got the Mac Mini, at the end of April. It's a full reset. Feels nice. It's fast. It's nice to see I have iStat menu up there to see all whatever is 5, 6 cores, however many cores it is. It's nice to look at that and be like, ooh. And it's fast. Like so my MacBook Air did support USB 3.0, but looking at the MacBook Air, opening my photos library, which is like 113 gigs on the external drive, even I actually did it on this external drive right here. It took like 4 or 5 minutes. This one, it just like snaps open. It's just ready to go right away. So, love to see your setup. Love to see how do you keep your desk clear. This is generally like, I didn't move anything off my desk this morning. I just pushed the monitor back out of the way. This is what my desk has been like all morning, all day. I've got a few, you can't see the bits around. I got a few bits from the build, like just laying around. I still haven't figured out where I'm going to put my Sonos One speaker. It's on a shelf over there, but that shelf's getting a little unwieldy anyway. So I need to figure out where I put that. I'm not sure that I want it on my desk anymore. But then I've got all my Lego characters up on the top corners of things. So maybe it'll just stay over there for now. We'll see. If it is, I got to I have a bunch of Velcro straps to strap everything out of the way to make everything neat. So I'll need to tidy up the cables over there that way and make sure that they're all good, because that's a charging station. I have like all USB-C for my watch, micro USB, mini USB. What else? Camera batteries go over there. I have a camera battery charger that I just leave there. GoPro chargers over there. So I have 2 GoPro chargers. One comes with me, one stays over there. Yeah, so that's all, like my charging shelf is all over there. I'd love to tidy that up one day and have like a box that goes over the power bar so you can't see anything. But we're not there yet. We will get there. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, you can make sure you don't miss any by subscribing below. Make sure you hit that little bell icon so you get notifications if you like notifications. Although, I gotta be honest, I hate them. If you'd like to support the channel, like to make sure that the videos keep coming, that the content keeps coming, you can support me on patreon.com/Curtis McHale. Have an awesome day.